Have you ever sat and thought, I make good money, pay my bills on time, have a retirement account, and I did everything that they told me to do, but I'm still just a little far from where I want to be. The thing is, that feeling has a name. You basically just built a middle class life, and the middle class was always a trap. I'm talking about a trap that looks like success from the outside, but feels like a cage from the inside. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Amari. At 26, I had $5,000 to my name and a $40,000 salary. By 31, I was making close to half a million and crossed millionaire status. That was just through my job. No debt, no side hustle or a business. So I built this channel because nobody sat me down and explained what I'm about to explain to you. So let's get into it. Here's what the middle class is actually about. It's not an income bracket like you've been told. It's actually a spending identity. Here's what I mean. It's basically a set of purchases that signal to everyone around you that you've made it. I'm talking about with the car, the house, and the vacations that end up on Instagram. And the annoying part of it all is none of this is optional, because the moment that you stop performing this middle class identity, people notice. I'm talking about your friends, your colleagues, as well as your family members. And that social pressure is not accidental. I watched this in real time. I had coworkers that were making more than me, but were always broke. They would complain about their finances on a random Monday and then pull into a parking lot literally a week later in a new car. And I'm not judging the car. Well, maybe I am judging the car, because that is the gap between what people say they want and the decision that they make every single day. So that gap is where wealth dies. Most people never close that gap because they never admit that it exists. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to show you three things. One, exactly how the middle class trap is engineered and why smart people fall into it the hardest. To the single decision that separated me from everyone around me who made the same amount of money or more, but went nowhere. And the third and final one is just a simple way to start exiting this middle class. Not someday, but based on decisions that you can make literally this week. So stay with me. The middle class traps works best on exactly the type of person that's watching this video. Smart, educated, high earning, and responsible. Because, responsible people do the responsible things. They buy instead of rent. They put money into their 401k, and they occasionally celebrate raises by upgrading their lifestyle. And every single one of those decisions on its own sounds completely reasonable. But that's the design. The trap is built on a number of just reasonable decisions. Here's what actually happens. When I was 26, I had a $40,000 salary, and I was barely keeping up. By 28, I was making $160,000. And I want to be very specific about this, because this is where people either break out or get locked in permanently. I did not upgrade my life to match my new income. My rent stayed the same. My car stayed the same. My grocery store obviously stayed the same. So when my income technically quadrupled, my spending went up maybe 15%. Most people do the opposite. Income goes up, lifestyle goes up to match it, and the savings rate stays flat or even gets worse. There's even a term for it. It's lifestyle inflation. But knowing the term doesn't do anything. What stops it is understanding that your lifestyle is not a reward for your income. It's basically a tax that you pay on your potential. Every dollar that you spend performing a life instead of building one is a dollar that'll never compound. Look, at 10% average market return, a dollar at 25 is worth roughly $50 at 65. That is not a small number. That is your freedom traded for something that you're barely going to remember buying. Hey, if you've enjoyed the video so far, this is exactly what this channel is built around. So hit subscribe and also like the video so other people can have the opportunity to watch it as well. So here's what most people miss about lifestyle inflation. It's really not about money, because it's about something that's much harder to fix. And I'll show you what I mean. The reason lifestyle inflation is so hard to fight is because it's a social problem. Every expensive decision in the middle class playbook has a social function because it's basically communicating something to other people about who you are and where you stand in society. The car, for example, says I'm doing well. Your house says I'm, serious and I've settled. And the vacation says, I work hard and I deserve this. And the thing is, when you stop making those purchases, you stop sending those signals to people. And the people fill those silences with their own interpretation. And you feel that. Look, I felt it too. When I was aggressively saving, I was driving a Toyota Prius C that my colleagues found embarrassing on my behalf, given that I'm 6'3" or, 6'4" on a good day. They would make comments like, friendly ones, but they're still comments. And, I had a decision to make. At that point, it's either care about what a broke person thought of my car or care about what my future self thought about my choices. That is not a small decision. That is the decision, because the middle class trap is fundamentally a people-pleasing trap. You are spending money that you could keep to manage the opinion of people who are also spending money that they could keep to manage your opinion of them. That was a word salad, but I think you got what I mean. The moment I stopped caring about what someone broke thought about my financial decisions, my net worth started moving. Not because I found some sort of new strategy, but instead it's because I removed the largest cost in my budget. And that's the cost of other people's approval. So look, if you want one tactical shift to make this week, make it this one. Go ahead and just spend 10 minutes and audit every major expense in your life and ask honestly, is this for me or is this for how it looks? You might be surprised at the answer. And I want to hear from you on this one. What is the one purchase in your life right now that if you're honest with yourself, is more about how it looks rather than, if it's actually improving your life? Just 1 or 2 sentences. I read everyone. But removing the social cost only solves about half the problem, because you can stop, bleeding money and still never actually build anything unless you understand the one decision that actually moves the needle. That is what this next section is about. So between 26 and 31, my income went from 40,000 to 400,000. And I want to be transparent about this because, it matters to the math. But here's what I want you to understand. The income jump did not cause my outcome. There are some people that make $400,000 and are just one bad month away from being in trouble. And I want to be very, very clear about this. Think about the income as the raw material and the savings rate as the engine. During my aggressive savings time, I was saving and investing between 70 to 80% of my income. And I did that not by extreme deprivation, but by never inflating my lifestyle to match my earnings. So the discipline came first, and then the income followed the discipline, not the other way around. Now, here's the part that applies directly to you, even if you're not making $400,000. The exit from the middle class trap is not a side hustle or real estate or specific investment strategy. It is a savings rate. That's it. At a 50% savings rate, you can theoretically retire in roughly 17 years, regardless of your income. At 70%, that number drops straight down to about 8.5 years. Most people saving 10 to 15% of their income, which is what the system recommends, are looking at 45 years of work. Look, the system recommends 15% because 15% keeps you in it forever. That is not a conspiracy. This is just what the math produces. So here's exactly what to do. Not someday. I'm talking about this week. First, find your actual savings rate, not what you think it is. Just pull your last 3 months of income and spending and do the math. Most people are shocked about what they find. Second, identify one spending category that is performing that social function that we talked about earlier, and cut that by 50% for the next 90 days. Not forever, just 90 days. See what actually changes in your life. And finally, the third one, take what you free up and move it automatically into an index fund before it can become a lifestyle purchase. These are not complicated steps. They are just uncomfortable steps. And that is the only reason most people skip them. So I want to come back to where we started. That feeling of doing everything right and still feeling owned by your life. That feeling is real and it's your problem to solve and nobody's coming to solve it for you. The middle class identity was sold to an entire generation as the goal. Stable job, nice house, retirement at 65. And for a lot of people, that path is fine. But if you're watching this video, you already know that that path doesn't feel like enough. Not because you're being greedy or anything, but because you know there's more available and you have been spending it instead of building it. Look, you already have most of what you need. The income, the discipline to make it this far, and the self-awareness to sit through this video long enough, to get here. The only thing left is a decision to stop performing a life and start building one. That decision does not require a raise or a business idea. It just requires a savings rate and the willingness to stop caring what someone broke thinks about your car. If this was worth your time, stick around because there's a lot more where this came from. And the next video goes somewhere where most people are not willing to look. Take care.